Hey y'all, welcome back to Key is King. Today we're going to be reviewing season, I believe 15, episode 1 of The Real Housewives of New York City. And we are with the new crew for this season, for those of you who have made the switch over from the OGs of NYC. Yeah, let's get into it because I have opinions, per usual. We start the season off with somewhat behind the scenes, somewhat, you know how they like to almost like reveal the drama without revealing the drama. This is like the climax of the season, which apparently happened 5 days before filming wrapped. Which is insane that it took them however many months of filming to finally get their climax, but whatever, to each his own. But it opens with clearly a fight between Brynn and Uba, who up until this point were friends, I'm pretty sure. I don't really remember the recap of last season, to be quite honest. But we open with them clearly in a fight, a drag-out fight, and everybody seems to be reeling. Everybody seems to be thinking that both sides have something to apologize for. Brynn seems to be kind of the main culprit, which, surprise, surprise there. But we're really building up to their promo shoot, and they're going into it very segmented. Everybody feels like this is like a horrible fight. They're just really hyping it up as something terrible and awful happened. So it better be fucking awful, or I'm going to be pissed. So that's how we're opening though. So New York is starting off their season with taglines, and just like Utah, they are not noteworthy pretty much at all. Like, I know I maybe liked one of them, and it's not even worth repeating, so if you're a tagline whore, please go look it up. But they got them. They got them. And to answer my question, 3 months was in between their filming time, so it took them 3 months to have some noteworthy drama, aka the climax of their season. You almost made it the whole 3 months without your climax happening? Okay. So we open with Brynn, and she is moving into her new apartment. And so, apparently the movers in New York City have all the say in how you move, because these people are saying they're going to do a 15-minute job in about 2 hours, which she clocked their team and was just like, the furniture I have in here only took 15 minutes last time. He's like, no, at least 2 hours. And then they pretty much refuse her delivery, because they say they just either can't do it or they're not going to do it, which they would have had me fucked up. Like, Brynn was calling them out and trying to like flirt her way through it. But absolutely not. Absolutely not. If the movers that I hired were calling the shots about like anything, I'd be pissed and we'd be getting a refund. But opening with Brynn makes sense because she is definitely one of the stars of the show, and she is in true form trying to flirt her way through getting this delivery the way she wants it, and it's not gonna happen. But that's Brynn. That is Brynn. So she is going through her delivery stuff. The people are like, we're not delivering it. And she is just like, okay, whatever. Once again, I don't get how you get finessed like that, but to me it feels like a finesse. It really does. It then quickly moves on to Brynn's brother being in town, and apparently he's in from South Korea. I think Seoul, she said. Seoul, not Seal. So Brynn's brother comes, and she's trying to essentially use him to like reignite her friendships with the girls, because apparently the last time he was there, they all went out and had a great time. So she's done fucked up, and she's trying to use her brother to like help, and trying to get him to move back to New York so she can like have a family, essentially, because for those of you who know, Brynn doesn't have much of a family. So very interesting opening scene, very interesting stuff from Brynn. And she's so fucking flirtatious to the point where she can't even help but like flirt with her brother, low-key. She just had to be known, let it be known that the theme of her apartment was like balls in your face. Like, sweetie, that's your brother. Get a hug. Like, come on. We then move on to the real star of the show, and that is Jessel. And Jessel is that bitch. I love Jessel. So her and Pavitt, which is her husband, are going on the subway, and Jessel is so hilariously out of touch. It is hilarious. First of all, the chippy like hello that she gave to somebody on the subway, like she won't get stabbed, was just funny. And Pavitt was like, "Don't do that, please don't do that." But she said she spent almost $1,000 on Uber every month versus taking the subway, which is like not even $3, I don't think. So that's actually wild. That's actually wild. But Pavitt has become a bit of a food influencer now that he has been made fun of for going to Vietnam for a banh mi, which if you have the money to go to Vietnam for a banh mi just casually, do it, and whoever makes fun of you for doing it is a fucking loser. Because banh mi's are good. And please, let me have money enough to go to Vietnam for an afternoon. I'm getting a lot more than a banh mi. And I might stay more than a day. So, but Pavitt is now taking his inspiration of his jokes about him and making himself a food influencer. My God. And so that is just really funny because Pavitt is really funny. He has a good sense of humor. And I feel like he turns around like a negative to a positive pretty well. So Jessel is like honestly judging him, and she's like, why are we going to this hole-in-the-wall place in Chinatown? But it sounds like it ended up being pretty good. So next time I'm in NYC, I might have to go check out Carol's Buns. Or Bun, I don't know. But they sit down outside to Jessel's disappointment, and she's just talking about how she needs more effort from Pavitt. She wants to be able to sleep in. She wants to be able to just like relax, maybe go to the spa or some shit. And I feel like most moms would probably request the same thing from their man. Pavitt seems to be barely interested, which I don't know if he's like playing that up for the show or if that's like really how he feels. But Jessel then brings up, speaking about spending lots of money on shit, that they have embryos frozen in Beverly Hills and they're just sitting on ice and they're paying a lot of money for that. And she has, since last season, really wanted another baby. And Pavitt does not seem to want any more kids. And so Jessel's really trying to convince him and almost like beg him, like, please, like, think about it. Like, don't you want to have another baby? We could have the next Beyonce or Elon Musk. And Pavitt's like, I'll pass on Beyonce, but I'll take Elon. Which, rightfully so, Jessel is insulted. And so am I, but I'm not Pavitt. But that was their cute little scene. It's a nice introduction to them, and I have a feeling they will continue to be my favorite on this show because they're pretty good. Pretty good. So we move on to a very boring scene of Aaron, who, shocker, is boring as hell. Uba has her moments, but Uba's kind of weird to me sometimes. And then the new girl, Rebecca Minkoff, who is apparently a fashion designer. And it's giving, like, Jenna Lyons' level of importance. Like, they're clearly building her up as this, like, high, almost like A-list fashion designer type of lady who has, like, a reputation. So, good for you. Don't know you, though. Maybe might have heard of you. Don't know. And so they're having lunch. They're talking about literal things that put me to sleep, like Uba's boyfriend. It was boring. It was boring. And then they proceed to invite her to Bryn's party and then throw shade at Bryn. So, snooze fest, snooze fest, snooze fest. Wake it up. Wake it up. Also worth mentioning that Aaron is saying that everyone's good and da-da-da-da, but when they splinter off into their small groups is when the discord happens. And then when they come back together in the big group, people have different stories. And she's essentially insinuating that's what's happening with Bryn and why she's being shady and almost cautious with the new girl about inviting her to the party that she was not invited to, that you're inviting her to, but then you're trying to be a shady bitch about it. So, okay, Jennifer, not so Aniston. And then we move on to Bryn going furniture shopping, and along on this journey, she brings Jessel and Jenna, and apparently for very different reasons, because Bryn was being a shady bitch in her confessional and saying that she did not bring Jessel for her style, as we cut to Jessel hoping that Bryn brought her because she thinks she has nice style. But apparently Bryn is saying that she does not consider Jessel to have nice style, but Jessel's honest. And she's bringing Jenna because she trusts Jenna's style. So, whatever. Bryn just being that little pot stirrer that she is, right? Oddly, Jenna, as they sit down after looking at some pieces of furniture, shares with the group that she has body odor, and Bryn decides to go and sniff her armpits. Just weird. Just weird. Ooh. Like, that makes me so anxious. The fact that she just sniffed her, like, body odor like that, I was just like, oh my god. Once again, too flirty for her own good. Because what? Then we get into what clearly will be a big point of contention this season. Bryn is very mad that Aaron did a Jeff Lewis interview, and she feels that they called her a call girl, which in the interview they essentially asked, like, how Bryn gets money or makes money. Aaron downplayed it, said she didn't know, and they were insinuating that, like, somebody's giving her money, which I took as, like, a sugar daddy, but Bryn immediately is saying that they're calling her, like, a prostitute, which sounds like a projection of Freudian slip and her telling on herself in a lot of different ways, but she is very pissed off about this. And then now we're cutting back to the boring girls at lunch talking about the situation too. And apparently Jenna had a party at her house with all of the like OG newbie castmates. And this party seems to have started a lot of drama because all of this is stemming from this. And another layer to all of this is apparently Aaron was talking shit that Jenna needed her to pay for an Uber because her car broke down. And so Aaron's saying that it was completely like taken out of context. She was being funny about the situation. She was not mad. But then reveals in the end that she had to pay $250 for this Uber, and she was annoyed, and it was annoying, and like, of course, why wouldn't it be annoying? But like, so clearly to me, Aaron was talking shit about Jenna, who was like the queen, richest bitch of this like new cast, and she got caught, and now she's trying to clean it up, like, oh, I wasn't talking any shit, or like, I was just joking, like, I was being funny, but like, it was annoying, but like, I was being... You sound sketchy as fuck, huh? Like, you sound sketchy as fuck. And so Jenna, apparently, in real time when this was all happening, called Aaron out. Aaron said she didn't say it, so Jenna's like, okay, it's he said, she said now. And it just cuts to all of them being like, I didn't say it. Flash forward to the other one, she definitely said it. So, clearly, people are on different pages here. But Jessel and Brynn seem to be confirming that Aaron said something shady, funny about Jenna. So... that rift is actually existing, and it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. We move on to the bitchy little thing herself, Miss Sai. And this is her official introduction to the season, and she is coming in Zen. She doesn't have a fun name. I guess it's not even a fun name. She doesn't have a name that rhymes with Zen, like Zen Jen, Zen Wen of Housewives Past. So she's just Zen Sai, which also sounds actually kind of like an anime character, now that I'm saying it out loud. But Sai is coming in, she's reflected after seeing herself on TV looking a fucking mess and like a ragey little Napoleon lady. So she's coming in very humbled. I think seeing herself on TV humbled the mess out of her. And as proof of that, she has invited Jessel to go to a cold bath plunge with her. She's saying she's really working on fixing her relationship with Jessel because last season she was just OD. Like, OD for nothing. For nothing. And so she's coming in with a new leaf and they're plunging in the bath. She keeps trying to sell this whole plunge to Jessel. It's like, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose weight. So they get in the bath and Jessel's losing her mind. Because Jessel is, as she called herself, an entitled rich girl from England. So she is literally just like losing her shit. And she's like, I don't want to lose weight this way. And flash forward to her little confessional, she's like, I don't think it worked at all. I didn't lose a single bit of weight, and I won't be doing that again. And so Jessel is like, thanks but no thanks. Let's jump in the sauna. So they do that. Sai's talking about her therapy journey because once again, after seeing herself be a monster, she's like, oh, maybe I should go to therapy. Maybe I should really figure this out. So she's trying to figure it out. She's going to therapy. Great. So she's kind of talking about her journey, how that's just going for her. And she then starts to talk about, once again, this infamous night at Jenna's house when she had a girls' night. And Jenna apparently came up to her and was saying, like, oh, I hear that you hate me, or you're telling people that you hate me. And Sai's like, I've never used those words, which she pretty much couldn't stand her, but she never said she hated her. And she's playing a bit of semantics there, but she's just like, I don't know what's going on. We talked about it that one time and kind of buried it. She's also talking about Brynn, who she has not really talked to since their whole fight that started at Brynn's birthday party, went to the reunion, all that jazz. So Sai is really kind of on the outs with Jenna, it seems like, although she wants to try to fix that. And her and Brynn have not spoken. And she's like attempting to go to this party that she's having for her brother, but she like doesn't know what the feelers are. But she's claiming to be more aware, know where her feelings are coming from, and be in therapy. So we'll see how that goes for Sai. We move on to Jenna, who is still one of the more questionable cast members of this show. And she is in her infamous closet with all her shoes, and she's with her like fake mother-in-law, which is her girlfriend's mom, who she's meeting for the first time on camera to go through her shoe collection to say yay or nay. Interesting choices. But they're doing whatever. They're having a good time. Good for them. We have the intro of the new housewife, which is Raquel, which is Jenna's friend. which is a copy and paste lesbian story, quite literally. They were married to men, went through divorces around the same time, are now lesbians and functioning in the world as so. And yeah, she comes over. The mom-in-law seems kind of like weird and racist at first. She's like barely like gave her hand as she's like trying to introduce herself. But she loosened up a little bit, but I still get my eye on her because, I don't know, you gotta watch people like that. Because why are you like that and you're just meeting me? Why are you that comfortable being that weird just meeting me? I immediately start to think racism. But that's just me. That is just me. So unfortunately, we move on to Erin and her family going out for ice cream. And you would think that'd be completely fucking normal and fine, and it was completely fucking not. This woman is really so annoying. She really is Jennifer Aniston. That is officially her name, because no. She is the great value Jennifer Aniston, also as I call her. Yeah, so they're going out to ice cream, and Erin starts off the scene good. She shouts out Connecticut, because apparently, I think that's what they used to call Uba's boyfriend, was Connecticut. So she shout out Connecticut. Great. Love you for that. Great. We then move on to her and her family just talking about stuff. Apparently, they have also just moved to a different place. Sounds like they moved to a smaller place, especially according to her 9-year-old son, who said that the place is too small and they need a bigger place. And she says something she said something similar to what I would say was like, where is the rent that you're paying, and then you can talk shit to me about where we live. So respect to her for that. But they're talking about this apartment, they need to move, blah, blah, blah. They're looking to move potentially again because they want a townhouse, and apparently that's a New Yorker's dream who grew up in the city. So, cool for them. So they're talking about a bunch of nothing. At some point, the 9-year-old goes, Mom and Dad, you stay here, I'm gonna go take the kids somewhere. He has 2 younger siblings. But, little motherfucker, you're 9. What do you mean Mom and Dad saying I'm gonna take... They're in a crowded restaurant in New York City, and he just gets up from the table with their 2 young children, and is like, I'll be back, I'm gonna go take the kids somewhere. Either that's a parentified child, or they don't give a fuck about their kids. Either way you slice it, I was like, how white? Sorry. And so they leave Erin and her husband at the table. They're talking about their new house, how they want to upgrade all this stuff, whatever. He makes a joke about shrooms and how, oh, it'd be a great place to do shrooms. She gets, like, pissed off. Like, when I tell you pissed off, she gets mad. And it's like, are you stupid? What's wrong with you? They cut to her the day before making a joke about tripping at their house. But apparently, her husband's stupid for saying it on camera. And he should not be making those jokes. And this is why I don't fuck with this woman. Because what the fuck are you talking about? So, we cut to the husband like, what do you mean? What did I say wrong? Like, I don't like my words being controlled, so what are you doing? And good for him, because what are you doing? And then he has his own confessional, which is how I know shit is about to get messy in this marriage. Like, we already knew that, judging off of the last season and the shit that he was saying and doing, but like, a single solo confessional from a husband means mess is coming. Because he does say, Erin's clearly mad about something that's going on, like, with our marriage. And we cut to Erin in her confessional saying that she's not ready to talk about what's happening with her in her marriage right now. Where's Crystal Ball? Miss Cleo. We know that it's not good. We can tell. We can really tell. We quickly move on to a transition scene of them getting ready for Bryn's party. The only real noteworthy thing here is that they get into Raquel a little more, who is the new housewife and the newest lesbian on the scene. And her fiance, I believe it is, they're pretty fucking cool. They're on motorcycles and they're pretty, like, hot together. So, nothing really noteworthy that other than their introduction, and we now have 2 cool, hot lesbians on the scene. So we're ending the episode with Bryn's party, and the start of this whole scene is fucking boring. Once again, I've been bored at least 3 separate times in this episode, and that's just unfortunate for them. And I guess me. But everyone's arriving. It's awkward. Sai's walking into Bryn and Jenna. Whatever. Aaron comes. She's upset because she talked to Jenna more. So it's literally boring at this point. Things start to pick up a little bit when Bryn and Jessel go to the bar, and Jessel reveals that Aaron sent her a text that just says "so disappointed." Which, if anybody ever texts me that by itself without any context, you're getting ignored, because what the fuck is that supposed to mean? But apparently she is disappointed that Jessel and Bryn engaged in the conversation they did about her joke that she made about Jenna being poor. I would not give a fuck about Erin on her best day if I was on the show or around her, like genuinely. But yeah, they're all apparently on edge because of this stuff. Erin's husband shows up to this party. She looks like she wants to murder him, so once again, things seem really great for them. And Sai revisits the whole I hate Jenna thing, and they're talking about it, and Jenna's like, yeah, why do you hate me? And Sai's like, I didn't say that, I never said that. And apparently, Bryn is the person that told Jenna that Sai said that. Interesting. Very interesting. So we are continuing with the Snooze Fest party, and these women are just talking amongst themselves. The husbands are talking and mingling with everybody. Erin confirms that she played investigator, and I'm confirming that she's playing instigator, because apparently she took it upon herself to go back in her messages with Sai to see if she ever said that she hated Jenna. And Sai said that she can't stand Jenna, so once again we're playing semantics. But Jenna's like, look, I've heard from multiple people that you were talking shit about me, Sai, and whether you said you hated me or not, it doesn't really matter because you're talking shit. Erin's opinion is that Bryn is making all this stuff up, and she's crazy for saying that Sai hates her, because who says that and who talks like that? And Erin's all up in arms because she's like, who says people hate other people and who talks like that, and yada yada yada. So once again, Erin's inserting herself in all of this and stirring up all the shit. But Sai just owns it. She apologizes to Jenna and she owns it. She says, look, I didn't really know you, I didn't really like you, and I was talking shit, not knowing you and not liking you. So it is what it is. I don't have beef now. Let's move on type of thing. Jenna's like, okay, whatever. It was funny, Jenna goes, I heard you're going to therapy now, and Sai just goes, fuck off. So, to me, friendship renewed, anew, well, however you want to do it. But they're going on, they're still mingling, they're talking, blah, 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 blah. Erin decides she's going to just confront Jessel, but doesn't want to talk in front of everybody after she kind of confronts Jessel. But Jessel's like, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. So they move over to the couch to talk about it, and Erin's just so hurt, and she's so disappointed that Jessel would do anything or say anything. And Jessel's like, well, Jenna must have said something. And we cut to Jenna, who's like, yeah, I called Erin to tell her about the furniture store because I've moved on. I don't want her to think that I'm stirring up the drama. I get it, but that's kind of messy. And so Jessel plays the mom brain card. She's like, when I don't want to deal with something, or if I'm not trying to fight, she'll just say she has mom brain and she can't remember, and it's hard. And apparently, according to Jessel, it works every time. So that was very funny. But they're all talking. They call Jenna over to confirm what Erin is saying, because Jessel's saying she doesn't know and she doesn't want to take on all the blame. And I don't blame her. So they're all talking and whatever. Erin's like, I'm from New York, I'm a straight shooter, I don't lie, I have integrity, I am the mother of 3 children, which you could be a fucking liar and all of those things. So I don't know what the fuck she's talking about, but go off. Maniston. And so, as they're all talking about this, Bryn sees something going on and she goes over, and the second she comes in the circle, Erin's like, ugh. And she's like, excuse you? At my party? Ugh. What are you talking about? And she's like, I have integrity, I don't lie, you're a liar, da 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 da. And they pointed out that, Bryn is a pot stirrer and doesn't want people to get close to each other and all this stuff. And I have some thoughts on that. But I personally think that what they're experiencing is Bryn does not have a family. Bryn comes from very little family dynamic. And I really think that to her, relationships have a different meaning. And I almost get where she's coming from in a sense, because like when you don't have a strong family and you don't have just relationships to like mirror or blueprint and kind of model what that's like, I think some people do have a hard time connecting with those types of dynamics or how to be functional in those dynamics and sometimes sabotage them. So I don't think these women understand that, but I could totally see where Brynn is the pot stirrer, she is the instigator, she is playing messy because she doesn't really know how to navigate life, especially relationships with other people. So I just find that to be interesting, and I'm definitely watching it. And so as Aaron and Brynn are fighting, who decides to join the ring but Sai? Sai said, oh, there's a fight, let me tag in. So she comes over, she's listening to everybody talk, and she essentially calls Brynn out. She's like, Brynn, what is wrong with you? Because Brynn is still so mad about this Jeff Lewis thing, and she's like, you called me a prostitute or said, and everybody's like, you're a liar. That was not said. And they show the clip for the 100th time this episode, and nobody said that. So like, Brynn, you have been caught flat out just exaggerating very wildly, and for seemingly no reason at all. But Sai's like, you know what, you're unwell. And like what I said earlier about the whole like family thing, I think this is the piece where they're kind of like touching upon that without knowing what they're touching upon. But Brynn is not like if she were to be unwell, it would be because of like her traumatic family history, I think, at this point. Like she feels like she was like an orphan of the world, essentially, even though she had her grandmother. The psychology of it all, I could do a whole video on it, honestly. I really could. But I'm not going to psych major you to death. But Sai comes over, she lets Brynn know that she's unwell, and she says, not today, Satan, which if you know anything about, I won't say anything, but if you know anything about that quote, you know it comes from Drag Race. At least that's the first time I heard it, and that's what I associate it with. But Brynn's like, I'm not Satan, I'm Satan's fourth wife. That wasn't that funny. But that's how the episode ends, with Brynn leaving in tears, crying, Sai saying that therapy did not work for her in that moment, and Uba showing up at the end confused to where Brynn is. That was that. New York is back. We shall see what the season will bring. It looked like the dynamics were going to be kind of good. The trailer looked kind of good. This first episode was a bit fucking boring in a lot of places. So that doesn't make me feel great. But I'm hoping that a pleasant surprise is on the horizon. But I appreciate y'all being here with me today. Please make sure you check out my other videos. Don't forget, as always, to comment, like, and subscribe. Me and my pen. We'll see you later.